could be something that simple. It could be something as simple as, I don't know, using social media to send pictures to parents. Wherever you are, it has to be a part of your routine and it has to be transparent. So a part of your routine is it's part of your daily schedule in your school. And everybody knows about it, and you're going to be consistent with it no matter what. Because the more consistent you are, the more it becomes second nature. So that if any teacher joins your school, or if any teacher joins your class as an assistant teacher, whatever it is, it's part of the culture and they just seamlessly adapt to that. It's transparent. So transparent means that everyone who's your stakeholder knows the technological tool and format that you're using. The parents know it, the school administration knows it, the children know it, everybody knows it. And it fosters collaboration. It either fosters collaboration of the learning environment itself, or it fosters collaboration with the children. Okay, you're moving the children from individual learning and you're moving them to working in teams, because working in teams is one of the 21st century goals, and it's something that we're pushing children towards to, where they learn to work with each other and navigate through emotions, regulate emotions, and share ideas. That's like one of the key apexes of learning, right? It has to be appropriate. So it has to be age appropriate. It has to be developmentally appropriate. So the technological tools that you're going to use for a 6-year-old or for an 11-year-old, it's not going to be the same technological tools that you use for a preschooler. So you also have to know where your children are in terms of development. Where are they in their cognitive development? Where are they in their language development? Where are they in their physical development? What can they do? Then you know the kind of technological tools that you're going to use. I remember during COVID, we were using apps to support the children who were learning to read, right? And I know that those of you who work with preschoolers, there's the Jolly Phonics app as well, where you can teach children to read. So the tool that you're going to use has to meet the children where they are in their age and their development. Also, their digital literacy. What kind of digital literacy skills do they know how to use? So are you forcing children to use tools that are way above their capacity? Have you talked about the safety aspects of this tool that you're using? Because before you expose children to technological tools, it needs to be safe. Everybody needs to understand the parameters of safety. So that's why you see some schools having closed Facebook groups, having closed social media platforms where they can share pictures to parents and they know that it's not going out on their space. That's how you have schools saying teachers are not allowed to take pictures of children with their personal phones. They can use the school phone, they can use the school tablet, they can use the school laptop, but not their personal phone, because they want to ensure that that confidentiality of the children's identity are kept in the school and they're kept close. The technology you use is also dependent on your class size, right? The class size determines what kind of tools you can use, and then you figure those things out. The technological tool you're using has to be attached to your curriculum goals. What do you want the children to learn? What is the most important thing for you in terms of the objectives? The universal design tool for learning says we start with the end in mind. So when we know where we're going, maybe we want children to be able to create their own maps, to be able to use maps, and then we come back. Okay, so we want children to be able to use maps. What are the best tools to teach geography with, to make it more engaging, to make it more practical, and to make it less theoretical, right? So those are the things we think about. And then when we go back, we now know, okay, this is what I want to do, and these are the tools that are going to help me do it. So when I was still actively involved with the school in Nigeria, we were using Google Maps for our grade 5s and 6s because we wanted them to understand what the world looks like, how to look for a place, using the satellite, right? And how to drill down to the differences between different continents and different cities and different places. And we knew that the best way to do that was to make it practical, and we were using Google Maps on a laptop at the time. So the curriculum goals would influence your learning objectives, and then you're coming back to, this is what I want to achieve with the children, and this is the technological tool that's going to help me achieve that. When you start to do all these things, it becomes routine, it becomes transparent, then it becomes seamless. You have to remove the roadblocks in your way when you want to integrate technology. So what are the issues? Is it your service provider? Do you need to have a backup service provider? Are your roadblocks parents who do not want to sign up to technology? We've had that problem before, right? Are your roadblocks staff who don't have the skills to adopt and implement that technological tool? So when you're able to identify your roadblocks based on complexities that are unique to you, then you're able to sort of make it routine, and then it becomes second nature. Another way for technological integration to be successful is it has to be accessible, and you have to have variety. So accessibility is, there's no need for me to come and say, I want to use, I don't know, whatever tool that comes to my mind. And maybe all my staff need to have phones for that tool, or all my staff need to have laptops, and they don't have laptops, and I don't provide laptops for them. Then it's not accessible, right? Or a parent comes to tell you, I don't have a tablet, I can't afford it, so I'm not going to sign up for this tool. But you know that this tool is crucial for what you want to achieve with your technological goals. How do you make it accessible? How do you solve that problem? And then you have to have a variety of technological tools. You cannot just use one, but you can find the most simple ones that you can implement and you can adopt in your space if technological integration is a goal that you want for your learning environment. So basic stuff, WhatsApp for communication, if that's what you're doing, a communication tool like Brightwheel, Hi Mama, Spark are very good communications where you can share the learning goals with parents, you can share pictures, you can share what the children are doing, right? You can have the internet in your space where kids are able to just research stuff. Either you're using Google Chrome tablets or you're using regular laptops with internet that has been enabled so the kids can seamlessly search for stuff in their classrooms. Even if you don't have an interactive whiteboard, you can have a projector. So have a variety of technological tools going from simple to complex, okay? That supports your goal to infuse more technology in your space. But at the end of the day, it should boost student engagement, student learning, and learning differentiation. So these are more factors that help you with technological integration. Please make sure that you're using the tool first, okay? You cannot implement a tool that you have not used. So if you, as a teacher, you found a tool that you feel will be beneficial for your students, or if you, as a school administrator, you found a tool that will be beneficial for your students, please ensure that you are using it first, okay? You using it first helps you identify if something is wrong with it, if you need to change anything, right? Stuff like that. So make sure you're always using it first. I don't know why my hand is raised up, but that's fine. Okay, so the tool must foster deeper understanding, as we have mentioned, and it must promote child-centered learning. At the end of the day, you're using technology to focus on the children's learning abilities, to boost their learning, and to make sure that they're learning the right things. It's not about you, the teacher, taking over the room. The children must be center. So they should have opportunities where they're talking, they should have opportunities where they're sharing ideas, they should have opportunities where you are observing them and you are using your observations to plan and monitor and assess what is going on. The final factor for functional integration is you have to be somebody who embraces change. Technological tools are changing every day. They're changing per second. What you might have used very well 2 days ago or 2 years ago is no longer relevant. So you also have to be a researcher where you're researching new and more seamless ways to use technology in your school. The way I would use technology in my school might be completely different from the way you use technology in your school, because we have different students, we have different parents, we have different teachers, and we have different educational goals. So open up your mind to embrace that change so that when it comes, you're flexible and you're able to just adapt and move on, because the goal remains the same, right? The tools are what change. Your goals of student engagement, deeper understanding, deeper learning, child-centered learning, they remain the same. The tools might change. So always look for a tool that adapts to the goals that you have for the children in your space. Okay, I don't know what happened. I cannot see the chat box anymore. Okay, so we have no chats. Please, if you have any questions, please type your questions in the chat box, and then I know to get to them. So, integration frameworks. We have 3 integration frameworks that we're going to be talking about. We have SAMR, we have HACK, and we have TEAM. So we're going to start with SAMR. SAMR was founded by Dr. Rubin, and it shows you the different levels of technological integration. Okay, we first start with substitution and augmentation. What these do is they just enhance the learning environment. Okay, so we're just using technology as an indirect or a direct substitute for the teacher. Okay, a lot of people fall into this space where technology is seen as a babysitter. So, okay, we're going to use technology, and the kids, I'm just going to put them in front of a tablet or a laptop, and I'm not going to monitor what's going on. I'm not going to observe if this is even successful or relevant to these kids. That's not what we want. We want to be in the red box. Okay, we want to be in this corner here where technological integration is transforming the learning environment. It is transforming the students as learners, right? We're either modifying the tasks at hand, or we're redefining what the children are doing. So case in point, let's say I want the children to learn about composting, okay? So it's agriculture, we're learning about composting. So instead of just having the children read notes on composting that I have projected either on the whiteboard, or they watch the video about composting, okay, which would be in the first 2 brackets, I want them to take that information, okay? I'm going to put them in groups, and they're going to create their own compost using waste from their homes. And then when they're done, they'll probably create PowerPoint slides talking about their experience of going through the composting process by themselves. And then they might create videos of the whole process, and then they create a PowerPoint slides, and then they come to do a presentation. Okay. In this activity, I have introduced the kids to so many skills, right? They have done research, they have collaborated, they have created a PowerPoint site, so they've actively used the technological tool, and then they have presented that back to me or the class. So I have also improved their communication skills and their presentation skills. Okay, so that's how we want to use technology. We want the children to be active participants of their space, of their learning environment, with the technological integration that we choose to use. So we need to go beyond just using technology to boost the learning content. So we're just projecting stuff, we're just watching videos. What else are they doing after they watch those videos? Watching videos are great, don't get me wrong, but what else are they doing, right? Are you using technology to test them, right? or are you using game-based tools, gamification tools that they can use to play games whilst you testing their knowledge of the content? So what are you using technology for? Is technology just your babysitter, where you can do other things on your table and the kids are busy doing something else? Or are they busy and engaged with technology, but it is transforming the skills that they did not have before? It is transforming the way they interact with the learning environment. So I like my sessions to be interactive. And someone has a question in the chat box. What learning game is suitable for age 3? So if anyone has used a learning game for 3-year-olds, please put that in the chat box as well. Thank you. Okay, so now we're breaking each of the sections, okay, which I've just explained. So substitution is where you're just using technology as a substitute. There's no functional change. So either they're just watching YouTube videos, okay, like we see in the preschool rooms, right? And they're just watching stuff on YouTube, they're dancing to it, they're singing it. Functional change, really. It's really speech. Then we have augmentation, okay, and we have examples over there where you have used technology as a substitute. There is some form of functional change. So using a video in your learning management system, and having online questions for children to answer. Then we move on to the 2 spots where we want to be, where it is modification. So the children are now doing more, right? They're using more educational skills in the learning environment. And I have an example there where they've watched a video on water being tested, or using my composting example, and then they analyze the recordings, right? And they write an essay on it. So they've used technology and the teacher has modified the assessment practice. But we also want to get into transformation, where they use the technology to learn, and then they use the technology again to showcase what they have learned. That's what we want to get to. But again, if we go back to our factors of social integration, this has to be developmentally and age appropriate. So I don't expect a preschooler to be in the transformation zone, okay, where they're using technology, because a preschooler might be too young to use technology. One of the ways we've done it is you can have drag and drop features in whatever you've created. So you can do that with PowerPoint. We used to be able to do that with Jamboard, but now Jamboard is being phased out. I remember during COVID, I created Jamboards. All right, I created Jamboards. I thought I was giving examples already. Susan, can you explain how many more examples you need? Thank you. I remember during COVID, we used to use Jamboards to create like drag and drop features for the preschoolers, where they learn something and then they can drag and drop. That way you're helping their family skills. But now Jamboard is being phased out, but I know that you can use it now with Mentimeter. So Mentimeter is the replacement for, let me go back. Mentimeter is the replacement now for Jamboard. And you can also do it with simple PowerPoint slides, and children can just drag and drop. So that is an example of stuff you can do with preschoolers, because preschoolers cannot really create things by themselves. So you can create drag and drops where, and then if your device is touchscreen, then you can just have them using their hands. So it'll be very good on a tablet. Khan Academy is very good. It has different activities for levels of kids, okay? Kahoot is great as well for game-based learning if you want to use that as a quick assessment tool in a fun way where the kids don't know that they're having a test, but you're testing them. We have PBS Kids. Okay, so PBS Kids, I've used that before. It has a lot of games and has a lot of knowledge-based information for younger kids. So we're talking anything from preschoolers all the way to grade 6. You can use PBS active engagement tools, right? And then we have Google Forms for older kids where you can create tests and then you can put them in groups and you can actually export your test results onto an Excel sheet. And then you can always map what the kids are able to do. We have online scavenger hunts as well, where you can have the kids finding something, okay, either in an environment that you've created for yourself, okay, or one that, or you want us to have. Some of these platforms are not free. I know BrainPop is free, SplashLearn is free, Nat Geo and PBS, they're free, right? So some of them are free, some of them are not free. Like Khan Academy is also free. Yeah, so once I'm done, we will try the Kahoot so you can see what it looks like, okay? Thank you for that. So some of them are free, some of them are not. You need to go in and see. Code.org is free. So code.org, the last time I used it was free, and you can put the children, you can create your own classrooms, and every classroom has the code, so it looks like Google Classroom. And then they can do simple games that teach them the concepts of coding, and then they keep going higher as they move from one class to another. So try code.org for coding. Mentimeter is free and it has replaced Jamboard. Quizzes as well. Quizzes is just like Kahoot. So you can use it to create quizzes that are interactive based on your classroom structure, based on what you want the children to do. And then you can do virtual field trips using Google Maps on your laptop. It's so easy. The kids just search a specific environment and then they get to see it from the earth, and then it zooms down into what the environment looks like, okay? And then, they can write down the characteristics of the space. All of this would help build their research skills and make them more active participants of the learning environment. So when we're done, we're going to look at Kahoot and then we'll look at Khan Academy. So we'll look at those two tools when we're done. Okay, let me see. And then you have Flipgrid. So Flipgrid is free and you can have kids. So if you give kids a project, instead of the kids giving you the physical project, the parents can actually make a video of the children doing the project, what the final what it looks like. You go in, you watch it. Other parents can watch and vote if you wanted to make it like a contest, right, and a voting system. Or you could have you, the teacher, go in, you can watch it, and then you just grade it from there. They don't have to bring back the physical project to you. You can just watch all those things. So again, this is also dependent on what your project is. If your project is something that they're creating, then they can make a video, put it on Flipgrid, and then you grade them from there, and other people can give them feedback. So it's a collaborative experience. If you wanted them to type something, this can be done on a Google Doc, where they're not even bringing the physical document to you for you to grade. You just go on Google Doc, and then you can give them notes and feedback. Their parents can read it to them, or they can read it themselves, and then they can improve what they were supposed to do if you give them an opportunity, and then they send it back to you and you grade it. So technology should also make your work easier as a teacher, but at the same time, it should, improve your learning environment, okay? And then and I will grade you based on that. So this is how technology can also help you with differentiated learning. Let's say you have a preschooler who they're not really good with technology. They use a tablet at home. They can drag and drop. So tell them, put all the red balls into the red box and put all the blue balls into the blue box. And they just drag and drop it for you. And they have done what you want them to do without them doing it on a worksheet. So it's for you to make it easier for you to transform the learning environment, but it's also student-centered in the sense that you're meeting each child where they're good at, and you're still assessing them where they are. So it's no longer going to be a blanket, one size fits all, you know, we are, let me look at the time, okay. We are meeting the children where they are. So let's go back to our framework so that we can quickly do some examples of tools. Okay, so all of this is going to be in the slides when you get them. So these are the strengths of this framework, okay? It promotes digital literacy, whichever level you're at, whether you start with basic substitution because you're just starting out a tool, or your kids are not very digital literate yet. Wherever you are, there's going to be digital literacy, okay? The children are using technology, they're getting comfortable with technology. It also helps you as the instructor to provide opportunities for children to learn and experiment with new technologies, okay? And it helps you scaffold. So everything we've talked about, the different ways to use technological tools, making them easier, it's scaffolding. Instead of you grading students one way, you can differentiate the way you want to grade the student and make it easier for them to showcase what they have learned instead of us failing students because they were not able to give you, the answer in the format that you wanted them to. Thank you, Osho Lawali. So Osho Lawali has put some examples as well in the chat box for us. Osho, do you want to tell us how you use Spelling Bee and Math Bingo, and are they free? Olawale, are you here?
Hello.
Olawale, can
Sorry.
you hear? Hi. Do you want to share
Yeah.
how you use Math Bingo and Spelling Bee?
I heard about it for preschoolers. I don't really teach preschool, but I know that they use Math Bingo because it has very simple stuff like 1, 2, 3. And I also heard that it also has from grades 3, 4, 5, 6 also. So I
Okay.
knew they have grade pre-K. They call it pre-K in
Yeah.
Maths Bingo. So if you go on Google, just type it's actually abcya.com/game/Maths Bingo. But if you type Maths
Okay.
Bingo on Google, it's gonna bring it up.
Yeah, ABCI is a very good one as well. There's iExcel. iExcel is for older kids, so thank you for that. iExcel is for older kids, but iExcel is not free. So that's the issue with that. But ABCI is free. What about Spelling Bee? Have you used Spelling Bee? Olawale, are you there? Lost. Okay, so if you have used any tools, please let's make this interactive and you can put them in the chat box for other people in addition to the ones that I have also shared. There are good videos on YouTube as well for preschoolers. I used to love Number Blocks. So that's another good one where kids can learn, the concepts of learning. There are Montessori apps as well on the Google Play Store where you can download those and then you can teach all the concepts of Montessori if you're a Montessori teacher. Okay, so let's go on to the second framework so that we can have a practical experience with one of the apps. All of this would be in the slides that you receive from the organizers. So I'm just going to skip through a lot of things so that we have time for a practical session. So this is where we want to be. As I mentioned, we want to be in the redefinition and modification stage, depending on the children that we have. If we have preschoolers, nursery kids, we would be at the bottom. So I'm looking at a Bloom's. So I have this side by side with the Bloom's taxonomy, okay? So for preschoolers or nursery kids, we might be in the apply, understand, and remember phase because of where they are developmentally. But for older kids, we want to move up to redefinition and modification because we want to be in the higher order thinking skills when we're looking at our Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so that's why we want to be here, because these are the steps that help us create, evaluate, and analyze. Okay, now this is TPACK. TPACK is the second framework, and TPACK might be more implementable for us as teachers, because TPACK simply looks at three things: the content, what are you teaching? The pedagogy, how do you want to teach what you're teaching? Okay, so what teaching techniques can I adopt to help children? And then the technology, who is your partner? How can I use, or what technological tool can I use to help me achieve learning content in a way that the children would understand and will make the learning environment more accessible? Okay, so I love the TPACK framework. And then it further merges everything into a Venn diagram. Hold on, I'm looking at the messages as well. Okay, and then everything into a Venn diagram. So where you're merging technology and the content, what kind of technology would help boost the learning content? So we've shared things like Math Bingo. Olawale has shared things like Math Bingo, and then Spelling Bee, where the children can spell stuff. We have the Jolly Phonics app that can help you with reading if you want to infuse technology into the reading. We have ABC, we have Brain Pop, we have Splash Learn. All those things have games in them that can help you enforce what the children have learned. Okay, so this is how you're merging the technological portion and the content portion. Okay, and then you have the pedagogical content. So what teaching strategy do you have to boost the learning content? I want to use technology to boost my learning content. Okay, and then the final one, how do we make the content more accessible? We make that by using this tool, because all my parents can easily download the tool because it's free, right? I don't live in a country where the school can afford to pay for the software, or maybe the school can afford to pay for the software, but we need to know what it's going to do for the content before we know what we're going to implement. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to open another. We're going to look at how to use one of the tools. Just give me a moment. Okay. So let me share my screen again. Can you see my screen? You should be seeing a Google page.
Yeah, we can, ma.
Yes, we can
Okay,
see your
thank you.
screen.
Thank you. So let's look at Kahoot first. Online game. So let's sign free. Kahoot used to be more free than this. I accept teacher. Okay, so can someone give us a topic? So we're going to create a Kahoot now. So I'm gonna need people. Oh, I don't want to write anything. So depending on the number of children you have, you might want to discuss plant anatomy. Ooh, that's a okay, so very good. There's a chat. Olu, you're going to give us the questions for plant anatomy. Okay. Create. So you have different things. You can tell a story, right? You can have longer sessions, you can have videos, you can do a short interactive quiz. So let's do a short interactive quiz. So Folu, let's go. Do I want to use Kahoot generator based on a topic? So you have AI assistants here. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to create from scratch. Or you can have a template. So these are different templates that you can use. Okay, each one has different elements, so you can look at it and see what you want to do. Okay, so here you can upload a file. So plant anatomy, Folu, what do you want us to do with plant anatomy? What part of it? So parts of a plant, correct? Let me
Yes.
unmute you so you just talk me through it. Okay, thank you. So parts of a plant, let's look for a picture that has parts of a plant. Let's see. Do you like this one? This picture is good?
Yeah, that's
Or
fine.
what age is this for?
Um,
Any age?
7 to 8 thereabout.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said 7 to 8.
7 to 8. Okay, so they should be able to understand that. So let's save it so that I can use it. Okay, so we come here. I have one free image left. Wow, okay. Upload. You. All right, so there we go. And then I don't think this is the right picture to use. So what's the question? If we use this picture, what's the question? Oh, you're my assistant. What's the question? What's the question? Or is this the right picture to use? We can change it.
Well, I think we can
This
make
picture
do
says
of it
everything.
for sake of time. So
Okay.
we can say which part of the plant, maybe
Oh, yeah,
which part
functions of parts of the plant.
functions.
Okay. Okay, so what part of the, so I have a question from Olawale here. What part of the plant helps to produce food or functions of the parts of the plant? Yeah, so those are good questions. So let's say which part of the plant produces food?
Okay.
That is subjective because, some people eat the leaves.
Maybe we would say
So I don't know
what
if this is a
part
good
of the
question.
plant produces food for, maybe food for the plant, so that makes it more towards the
Okay,
plant as
which part of
opposed
the
to really,
plant
yeah,
produces food for the plant? I feel like
yes,
there's a
or it's
shorter way to ask that question, but
not
that's fine.
really, it's not,
It's okay.
it's not really.
And then we have to choose which one is the correct one. How do I do that again? Okay. So this is the correct one, okay? And then when the students are doing it, they don't see the correct one. If they click it, it will tell them if they're right or wrong. So Kahoot is very good also for self-assessment, where the kids are self-assessing and you don't have to assess. They can tell if they were right or wrong, right? So let's add another question, still using our picture. We can do true or false. You can have a puzzle. You can do a poll. You can do so many nice things with Kahoot. That's why it's like a favorite. If you're teaching secondary school kids, now this might require some assessment on your part because open-ended is like essay type questions, right? So it doesn't automatically grade them